You ain't put in on this, man. I'm glad you got fired. Listen to me. Listen. That means you can help me.
Nobody could have predicted what happened to the Friday crew. One became a billionaire with a sports league worth $1.5 billion. Another walked away from a $25 million paycheck over religious beliefs. A third was homeless, sleeping in cars with her family after being blackballed by Hollywood. Some battled addiction, others faced death threats. What happened behind those famous scenes will leave you speechless. Ice Cube. Ice Cube's story is one of the most unexpected transformations in Hollywood. Back in 1995, he co-wrote and starred as Craig Jones in Friday. The movie was raw, funny, and quickly became a cult classic. But Cube didn't stop there. He took that moment and built an empire from it. He followed it up with Next Friday in 2000 and Friday After Next in 2002, writing and starring in both. Then the franchise went quiet for more than 2 decades. But fans never gave up hope, and in April 2025, it finally happened. Cube struck a deal with Warner Brothers to bring Last Friday to life. It had been 23 years since the last film. The deal came together thanks to Warner's new leadership, especially Michael DeLuca, who had worked on the original film back in the day. Cube made it clear, without that change at the top, this sequel might have never happened. While working in film, Cube never let go of music. After delays, he released Everything's Corrupt in 2018. That album had been teased since 2012. Then in November 2024, he returned again with Man Down, his 11th studio album. It came with bold tracks, including Egomaniacs, where he teamed up with Busta Rhymes and Killer Mike. It had been 6 years since his last release, but Cube came back like he never left. At the same time, he was building something new, off the stage and screen. In 2017, Cube co-founded the Big Three Basketball League. What started as a side project turned into a sports empire. By 2025, the league hit a valuation of $1.5 billion. It had 12 teams and was preparing to expand to 16. Each team was worth about $10 million. Players made $10,000 per game, plus bonuses. In 2023, Cube made headlines when he offered $5 million to college basketball star Caitlin Clark to join the league. That move shocked the sports world. Away from business and fame, his personal life stayed just as strong. Cube met Kimberly Woodruff in 1989. At first, she turned him down. She was seeing someone else. But 6 months later, the timing was right. They got married in 1992 and stayed together ever since. That's over 30 years, rare in Hollywood. On Cam Newton's podcast in 2024, Cube explained why it worked. He said, "We want to be married. I don't want nobody to have my woman. She's mine. I'm hers." They raised 4 kids together. One of them, O'Shea Jackson Jr., played his own father in Straight Outta Compton in 2015. He doesn't hide the fact he's a Nepo baby. He embraces it. He calls Cube his hero and his coach. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker lit up the screen in 1995 as Smokey in Friday. He was loud, funny, unpredictable, and unforgettable. That single role made him a star overnight. But instead of riding the wave with sequels like most actors would, he walked away. For years, fans kept asking, why? In 2025, at age 53, he finally explained. After becoming a devout Christian, he didn't want to play characters that cursed, smoked, or got high. That ruled out more Friday. He said he wanted to leave Smokey as a legend and chase roles that matched his new value. That choice cost him millions, but it didn't slow him down. In 1997, he scored big with The Fifth Element and Money Talks. Then came Rush Hour in 1998 with Jackie Chan. It made $244 million. That movie made Tucker a global name. By Rush Hour 3 in 2007, he was paid $25 million. For a while, he was the highest-paid actor in Hollywood. Then he disappeared. Between 2007 and 2011, no movie, no big projects, just silent. When he returned, it was on his own term, choosing roles carefully, not chasing fame. But while his career cooled down, his money problems heated up. In 2014, he settled a $2.5 million tax debt. Then in 2021, The IRS sued him for $9.6 million more. His team blamed bad accountants, but the damage was done. Then came another surprise. In the Netflix doc Filthy Rich, Tucker's name popped up in the Epstein flight logs. In 2002, he flew with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey to Africa for HIV/AIDS work. No scandal came from it, but it raised eyebrows. Through it all, Tucker kept his personal life quiet. He has one son, Destin, born in 1998 from his marriage to Asia Pryor. There's been no second marriage, no long-term partner in public. His real bond seems to be with old friends, especially Jackie Chan and Michael Jackson. In 2005, Tucker even testified for Jackson during his trial. Now, he's back in a big way. In March 2025, he's headlining in Las Vegas. And yes, Rush Hour 4 is officially on the way. He says it'll be the rush of all rushes. After years of silence, Tucker is ready to talk again and laugh again. Nia Long. Nia Long also started with Friday. She played Debbie, the sharp, beautiful neighbor who didn't take any nonsense. But Nia didn't want to stay in the girlfriend role. Right after the movie dropped, she said she was done playing pretty side characters. She wanted bigger things. She got them. In 1997, she starred in Love Jones. She played Nina, a smart photographer in a story that still holds up as a classic. That same year, she was in Soul Food, showing her strength in family drama. Then came The Best Man in 1999 and Big Mama's House in 2000. She was no longer the sidekick, she was the main event. TV loved her too. From 2003 to 2005, she played Officer Sasha Monroe in Third Watch. That role earned her 2 NAACP Image Awards. Later, she showed up on Empire and NCIS Los Angeles. By 2022, she was back in The Best Man, the final chapters. Fans loved it. And she won another award in 2023. In 2025, Long is 54 and rising higher. She signed with Artists First and landed the role of a lifetime. Katherine Jackson, the Jackson family matriarch, in the film Michael, hitting theaters October 3rd. It's one of her most anticipated roles ever, but her personal life has made just as many headlines. She dated NBA coach Ime Udoka for 13 years. They got engaged. They had a son, Kez, in 2011, but in 2022, everything fell apart. Udoka was suspended for allegedly having an affair with a co-worker. By December, Long confirmed the breakup. She said the problems had been there for years. The affair just ended it for good. In 2024, she won sole physical custody of Kez. He now lives with her 95% of the time. Udoka, now coaching the Houston Rockets, pays $32,500 a month in child support. Long also has an older son, Masai, born in 2001 from her past relationship with actor Masai Z. Dorsey. Even through all the heartbreak, Long kept working. She's now exploring other creative sides, directing music videos, writing a memoir, and staying active on social media. In May 2025, she hinted at a new relationship with a cheeky post. "I'm single with a boo." Fans took notice, and this year, she'll get her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. After 3 decades in the industry, Nia Long is not just surviving, she's thriving. DJ Pooh. DJ Pooh didn't just play Red in Friday. He co-wrote the film with Ice Cube. Most fans only remember him for the hilarious bike-stealing scene, but behind the scenes, DJ Pooh was building a career that would stretch across music, movies, and video games. Born in Los Angeles in 1966, he was already known for producing Ice Cube's hit, It Was a Good Day. But after Friday, his career exploded. In 1995, he helped produce Tupac's album, All Eyes on Me, which went diamond, over 10 million copies sold. That's a milestone very few albums ever reach. A year later, he worked on Snoop Dogg's second album, Thaw Dog Father, which went double platinum, even though Snoop had just left Death Row Records. DJ Pooh was becoming one of the most trusted names in West Coast hip-hop. But then, he did something totally unexpected. He moved into video games. In 2004, he joined Rockstar Games to help write and shape Grand Theft Auto: San Andreas. His job was to make sure the game felt like real 1990s California. He nailed it. In 2013, he returned to help with GTA 5, which ended up making more than $8 billion. That's more than Avatar or Avengers: Endgame. His voice is even in the game, playing a DJ on the West Coast Classics radio station. Along the way, DJ Pooh directed movies like 3 Strikes and The Wash, which brought Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre back together on screen. He also kept working with Ice Cube and other longtime collaborators. That's what makes DJ Pooh special. Not just talent, but loyalty. He built bridges in an industry known for burning them. His creativity reached across music, film, and games, proving that you don't need the spotlight to make a massive impact. Regina King. Regina King first caught everyone's attention as Dana in Friday, the tough little sister who didn't take nonsense from anyone. That was 1995. She shared the screen with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker in a movie that became a cult classic. Most actors fade after one hit like that. Regina didn't. After Friday, she kept showing up in major films, Jerry Maguire in 1996, How Stella Got Her Groove Back, and Enemy of the State in 1998. She jumped between comedy and drama like it was nothing. Then came Ray in 2004. She played Margie Hendricks, Ray Charles's backup singer and lover. Her performance got serious praise. While movies kept coming, she was building something even stronger on TV. From 2009 to 2013, she starred in Southland, a gritty police drama. Then came American Crime between 2015 and 2017. She played a different role each season and won 2 back-to-back Emmy Awards. Then in 2018, she played a grieving mother in 7 Seconds on Netflix. Another Emmy. By now, Regina King wasn't just working, she was winning. Then in 2019, it happened. She won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in If Beale Street Could Talk. That same year, she took home yet another Emmy for Watchmen on HBO. In 2020, she stepped behind the camera. Her first feature as a director, One Night in Miami, premiered at the Venice Film Festival. She was the first Black woman to ever do that. The film went on to get multiple Oscar nominations, and she didn't stop acting. She starred in The Harder They Fall in 2021, then Shirley in 2024, which earned her an NAACP Image Award nomination. But behind all this success, tragedy hit. In January 2022, her only son, Ian, took his own life just after his 26th birthday. Regina had always called him her greatest pride. They even had matching tattoos in Aramaic that meant unconditional love. In her words, he was a bright light who cared deeply for others. The world saw a star, but she had lost her whole universe. John Witherspoon. John Witherspoon stole every scene he was in as Willie Jones, the hilarious and unpredictable dad in Friday. But his life after the film was even more impressive. He stayed busy, working non-stop. He voiced Granddad on the Boondocks, introducing himself to a whole new generation. At the same time, he starred in The Wayans Brothers and appeared in cult comedies like Soul Plane. He was also doing stand-up shows across the country, well into his 70s. He kept pushing, even when his body was failing him. On October 29, 2019, Witherspoon died suddenly from a heart attack. He had coronary artery disease, and health issues like obesity and high blood pressure played a role. He was 77, but no one saw it coming. Just weeks before, he was still filming and doing comedy gigs like nothing was wrong. The people who knew him best shared just how much he meant. His son, John David, posted a tribute that felt more like a best friend saying goodbye. "We'd roast each other like homies more than father and son," he wrote. Regina King called him her inspiration. Everyone was shocked. The saddest part? He was supposed to return as Granddad in a Boondocks reboot in 2020. Fans never got to see that final performance. John Witherspoon was buried in Hollywood Hills, surrounded by legend, and that's exactly where he belongs. Paula Parker. Paula Parker played Joy, Craig's jealous girlfriend in Friday. She was funny, loud, and unforgettable. But behind the scenes, her story was far from funny. Years later, she revealed something shocking. She was homeless. She, her husband, and their son lived in an extended stay hotel. At one point, they slept in a car. She said Hollywood blackballed her after she married Forrest Martin, a producer she met on Hustle and Flow. Some insiders didn't like that she married someone behind the camera, and suddenly the roles stopped coming. But she didn't quit. Paula has done over 50 projects since Friday. Between 2001 and 2005, she voiced Trudy Proud in The Proud Family. In 2022, She came back for the Disney Plus reboot. But acting wasn't the only thing that saved her. In 2018, she opened Healthy Junk, a vegan soul food spot in Los Angeles. It blew up. The place made over $1.2 million in its first year. Celebs started showing up. Food became her backup plan. "Food saved me when Hollywood wouldn't," she said in a 2021 interview. In 2011, she was told she had pre-diabetes. That was a wake-up call. She changed her whole lifestyle. That journey led her to start a nonprofit, Well and Worthy. Since 2019, they've taught over 5,000 kids in poor areas about healthy food. At the same time, she's kept acting, appearing on BET's Family Business and other shows. Her story spread in Hollywood, not just as an actress, but as a survivor. Director Ava DuVernay once called her unbowed, unbent, unbroken. Angela Means became a cultural icon without even trying. She played Felicia in Friday, a small role that ended up becoming unforgettable. Years later, people everywhere were shouting, "Bye, Felicia," even those who had never seen the movie. What they didn't know was that Angela had already walked away from Hollywood. In 1997, she turned down 3 major film roles worth $1.8 million. She could have chased fame. Instead, she chose her son. "I chose motherhood over millions," she said, crying in a 2019 interview. "And I've never regretted that choice." But things took a dark turn when the catchphrase blew up again in 2014, after Straight Outta Compton. Angela was suddenly famous for all the wrong reasons. Strangers yelled at her in public. They mocked her in stores, at her son's football games, even on the street. "People only saw that broken, drug-addicted character," she said. The real Angela was buried under the meme. The pressure broke her. In 2015, she suffered a full nervous breakdown and had to be hospitalized. She found healing where no one expected, in food. In 2017, she opened Jackfruit Cafe in Los Angeles. It wasn't just a restaurant, it was her comeback. NFL stars like Colin Kaepernick supported it, and soon the cafe made over $800,000 in its first year. She hired 17 formerly incarcerated workers, giving them a second chance, just like she gave herself. Angela called it her rebirth. "Food helped me reclaim my identity," she wrote in her 2022 memoir, More Than Felicia. Now she's fighting for others. In 2023, she launched Beyond the Punchline, a foundation that helps over 150 at-risk youth each year. She's also raising awareness about strokes in African American communities where the risk is 50% higher. Angela's story isn't just about survival, it's about turning pain into power. "My character became a joke," she wrote, "but my legacy will be about dignity and redemption." Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. was a man you couldn't ignore. He stood 6 feet 5 inches tall, with a drooping right eye from a damaged retina he was born with. That look, combined with his size, made him perfect for tough guy roles. But it was his performance as Debo in the 1995 movie Friday that made him unforgettable. Debo wasn't just a bully, he was the kind of character that stayed with you long after the credits rolled. And when Lister returned as Debo in Next Friday in 2000, his place in pop culture was sealed. Most fans never knew that behind the loud, intimidating character was a soft-spoken, deeply religious man. He was devoted to his wife, Felicia Forbes, and their son, Thomas Dwayne Lister III. Off-camera, Lister focused on ministry work and faith. After Friday, his career exploded. He acted in about 132 films, playing all sorts of roles. In 1997 alone, he worked with both Quentin Tarantino in Jackie Brown and Luc Besson in The Fifth Element, where he played the president. Over the years, he acted alongside legends like Marlon Brando, Bruce Willis, Johnny Depp, and Dustin Hoffman. But before all of that, he was a pro wrestler. In 1989, he entered the WWF as Zeus, after appearing in No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan. Later, in 1996, he returned as Z-Gangsta in WCW. But even with all that success, trouble found its way in. In 2012, Lister pleaded guilty to a mortgage fraud case that caused $3.8 million in losses. Then came health problems. By 55, he had type 2 diabetes, and it only made things harder. When COVID-19 hit in 2020, he caught the virus but recovered. His manager said he actually got into great shape during the lockdown. He used the time to focus on his health and was feeling better than he had in years. Then, in December, something changed. He began having trouble breathing and felt weak. He told his manager, "I feel like I'm getting COVID again." Plans were made to get him tested. But on December 10th, 2020, Lister was found dead at his home in Marina del Rey. He was 62 years old. At first, many thought COVID was the reason, but the autopsy told a different story. His heart was enlarged, his blood pressure was high, there was fluid in his chest, he had clogged arteries, poor circulation in his leg, and other serious heart problems. The official cause of death was hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Just days before he passed, he gave a final interview. He said he couldn't wait to get the COVID vaccine. He wanted life to return to normal. Most of all, he wanted to spend Christmas with his daughter. Ice Cube, who starred with him in Friday, shared a tribute that captured who Lister really was. "America's favorite bully was a born entertainer," he said. "He'd scare people, then flash a smile and laugh. He was a good dude at heart. I miss you already." Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson made the world laugh as Izal, the wild, sneaky character from Friday. But his life off-screen had ups and downs that few people knew about. Born on February 1st, 1966, in Compton, California, Anthony was introduced to Hollywood early. His father, Eddie Smith, worked as a stuntman and helped start the Black Stuntmen's Association. That gave Anthony a foot in the door, but it was his own hustle that made people remember his name. Before Friday blew up in 1995, Anthony had already been in the spotlight. He played Eazy-E in House Party back in 1990. That role gave him his first real break. But Friday was different. Easel became an instant fan favorite. Wild, hilarious, and unforgettable. After that, Anthony kept working. He was in The Players Club and I Got the Hookup, both released in 1998. In both, he played offbeat, funny characters that stuck with viewers. Outside of films, Anthony had a surprising connection to hip-hop. He played a parody character called Sleazy E in Dr. Dre's Dre Day music video in 1992. Then, in 1993, he showed up in Eazy-E's response video, Real Motherfuckin' G's, where Sleazy E gets attacked. It was all part of the real-life feud between Death Row and Ruthless Records. Somehow, Anthony's comedy landed right in the middle of rap beef history. He never really stopped acting. Even in the 2010s, he stayed active in smaller movies. His last role came in 2019 with I Got the Hookup 2, where he returned as Blue, the same character he played 21 years earlier. Despite staying busy, Anthony didn't earn big money. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated to be just $100,000, a small number for someone so widely recognized. His personal life was complicated too. He was married to Lexis Jones Mason and had 3 children. In 2009, people thought he had a heart attack at LaGuardia Airport. Years later, he revealed it had actually been a panic attack. That small correction said a lot about the pressure he lived with. Then came the real tragedy. On September 6, 2021, Anthony was found unresponsive in a store in Los Angeles. He was taken to the hospital but didn't make it. He was only 55. His death wasn't made public until 2 weeks later. When the news finally came out, fans were stunned. The cause? Multi-system organ failure due to chronic alcohol use. His body had just had enough. The man who made so many people laugh died from something that had been eating away at him for years. Lwanda Paige. Lwanda Paige, who had just a short role in Friday as a stern Jehovah's Witness, had lived an absolutely wild life. Long before that cameo, she had been setting stages on fire. Literally. Born October 19, 1920 in Cleveland, she was raised in St. Louis and began performing at just 15. Her act, fire eating. She went by the Bronze Goddess of Fire and did things like lighting cigarettes with her fingers and walking across flames. She once said, "If I had to burn to make a living, I was willing to burn." Most people today remember her best as Aunt Esther from Sanford and Son. That show ran from 1972 to 1977, and her role became iconic. Aunt Esther was loud, religious, and sharp-tongued, always arguing with Red Fox's character. What made it more special was that Red and Lwanda were childhood friends. He insisted she get the role, even though she was already 53 at the time. After that, She kept playing Aunt Esther in spin-offs like Sanford Arms and Sanford. She also appeared in Detective School and guest starred on shows like Martin, In Living Color, and Family Matters. On top of that, she released 5 comedy albums. One of them, Watch It, Sucker, even went gold in 1977. Her personal story had painful parts too. She married John Peel in 1934 when she was just 14. By age 19, she was a widow. She lost an infant son in 1935, but later had a daughter named Clara. Through it all, she stood up for equal pay and opportunities for Black entertainers, even when it risked her career. In her later years, Lwanda reintroduced herself to younger fans through quirky commercials. One Church's Chicken ad had her milking a bumble cow, a cow with bee wings. Her deadpan line, "Hey, it could happen," became a hit. Even in her 70s and 80s, her timing was perfect. Lwanda Paige died on September 14th, 2002, at the age of 81, with complications from diabetes.